Hey everybody. So this is an e-scooter. It's not mine. It belongs to a neighbour of ours. And I said I'd have a crack at trying to repair it. In case you can't tell, this bit is not supposed to be flopping around over here. It was, at some point, welded into this guy. So it would have let you, fold the handlebars down, right? But it's made of cheap Chinesium. This is cast aluminium tube by the look of it. I'll get you in for a closer look in a second, just here. Quite worn, quite, fretted here. The welding looks bad, and I'm not an expert, but it looks bad. So I'm going to have to figure out how to dismantle all of this thing, basically to liberate, the upright, from its wiring, all of this stuff, and then to try and liberate this, which is, I'm told, like taking the headstock off a mountain bike, but I've never taken the headstock off a mountain bike, so that should be interesting. I'm assuming there's a set of, taper roller bearings, one at the top, one at the bottom, and there's a bolt through the middle that pulls it all together, but I don't actually know. I'd rather not take that off, but I can't see how to easily weld it back in again with it still attached. We'll see if I can or not. Anyway, let's take you in for a closer look at the carnage. As you can see, this is where the weld was on this end. This is like this actual whole last quarter inch or so is just weld. The tube starts a quarter inch up. You can see here, see how like worn in it is just on this line. See that goes up there. That wear line is all the way around, which probably equates to the wear that we can see on this end. Bear with me. Doing this with one hand is tricky. Right, so there you can see the horrible weld. That's the underneath, right? So I really need like an extra hand. Bear with me. There we go. And prop him up on its stand. So, it was welded. The weld was run this side, right? This whole assembly is essentially glued in place by the previous occupant's attempted repair. I'm told this is a mix of Gorilla Glue, duct tape, super glue, basically anything that he thought would fix it. So bear with me a second. I'm just going to put you down so I can, because this is now so stiff that with no leverage of this on it, it's really hard to move. So hold on a second. All right, you're back. So now it's in its closed position. So you can see this should be like an over center latch that hooks into a hole in the upright somewhere. The whole thing is pretty shocking, to be honest. Doesn't kind of latches, then I guess that's the catch that you have to release. But this lip, it's hard to see in a picture, but like this whole edge just here, focus there. This edge is like rolled forwards, presumably as this guy has been weeble wobbling around. It would be nice just to be able to get this part off this, but I don't see an obvious way of doing that. So like there's clearly a pin through here, right? But I don't see a way to push said pin out unless it's just underneath all the gunk. So we might have to
weld it in situ, which I'm not looking forward to. We'll see. I'm going to stop recording for a little bit because you don't want to see like an hour of me trying to figure out how to take this thing apart. Once I've got it figured out, I'll bring you back. The interesting bit will be reattaching that to that so that it looks like a scooter. Better remember to do that the right way around. Anyway, back with you in a bit.
Okay, you're back. So, for anybody who ever wants to take the headstock, I guess, off one of these AOVO, I don't know what brand this is even, scooters, it's like a knockoff of the Xiaomi, I guess. Incidentally, this is where I really wish I had one of Alexander Chappelle's like massive camera arms that would just lift up and give you a good angle, but anyway, it's about as good as it's going to get. Let's move that down there. So, this guy that I thought would hold everything together, after I dug quite a lot of Gorilla Glue out of here, turns out is basically just a dust cap to stop crap going in. What's actually holding it on is a pair of pinch bolts. There's one there, come through from opposite sides. They've got red Loctite on them, or at least one had. Loosen those off, and then it just comes off. It's just a sort of slip fit, right? It's keyed, vaguely, kind of, but I would strongly suspect quite a lot of latitude of movement, so you got to make sure you get it back on in the right place. But anyway, 2 pinch bolts, comes off. Brilliant. That means we've now liberated this horrible, shoddy, walled out mess, and we can work on welding it back onto there. All I have to do now is figure out how all the electrics come out. And the brake cable's going to be easy enough. That's this guy. I say that now. It's probably going to be the one that's a pain in the ass, but it's a brake cable. How hard can it be? And then you've got this, which is obviously the controller wire, because it's not, this guy's the motor wire that goes to the hub. So I'm going to have to dismantle up there, I'm guessing, because I can't see any joins when I look up the pipe, to get these out, because I don't want to melt them. And also I'd like to leave all of that with this part, so I can go work on this in the other garage. So I'm going to get to work on that. I will probably put that back in there so I can't lose it. I think I'll pause you again while I try and dismantle this end, because there's a lot of crap and it's flapping around on the workbench, and I'm just going to end up bashing the tripod like a million times. So bear with me. I'll be back in a minute. All right, back with you again. The off chance the actual owner ever sees this, don't worry. I did rubber mallets incidental to this. The other things, not so much. So, if you ever need to know how to get the handlebar tube apart, to liberate this end, so there are 2 at the top where this slides in. You've got 2 screws this side, 2 screws this side. Kind of suspect they're all meant to be 3mm countersunk Allen headed M4, M5. 2 are crosshead screws. 1 black, 1 white. Anyway, take those out, pull the tube apart, and eventually you will get to a connector. This connector is heat shrunk together because the retaining clip is just hot garbage. So I will heat shrink it back together when I put it together. To liberate the brake, what you need to do is basically squeeze the back brake together to shorten the cable, and then it's just like taking a bicycle cable apart. You just take it out through the gap that's in the ferrule, and then once the cable's out, once the outer is out, pull the brake and just negotiate the soldered nipple out of the end here. Job done. Job. That didn't take as long as I thought. There's a couple of these quite nice bespoke grommets, actually, that protect the cables. They're nice soft silicon, so they push right through. And that's it. We've liberated this entire tube. This whole bottom end down here needs all of this shite cleaning off it. Likewise, this end, the acetone's going to get a workout. Remembering that this retaining hole has to line up with this over-center latch. The over-center latch is, like everything else, kind of walled out. Let's see if we can fix that. The two need marrying back together. What will be vertical. That's nice and easy to tell, because you should be able to fixture this somehow. When this is closed, which I can't do without a lever, this bottom face should be perpendicular to the tube. So all we have to do is, I am thinking, which way is in frame? That way. I am thinking fixturing this down. Hold on, let me just, oh my God, seriously. This was nearly impossible to close when it was attached to the rest of the bloody bike. Anyway, fixturing this down to the table, and then essentially fixturing this in vertical, and trying to run a tack or something around the outside before coming in and doing the inside. So the outside weld can keep it nice and vertical before we come in and add some strength. There's nothing in this bottom end. Part of me is tempted to sleeve it, assuming it's a uniform diameter all the way down. The thing is I assumed it would be a tube, round tube, but it's not. It's oval, which means I can't just turn up a sleeve on the lathe. It's just that this end is so, well, I don't know if you can see that, but like that divot there, so walled out. This has got to be so thin now. We'll see what we can do. The over-center latch doesn't latch very well either, I think, because that hole is also all walled out. So we'll see. We might have to build some edges up with some weld and then file them back to straight. It's going to be quite the challenge. But yeah, we'll see how we get on. That is probably going to be tomorrow's project. Today, I'm just going to put screws back in the holes. So, in the head end up here, these holes are actually threaded. This is quite, reasonably nice. Die-cast aluminium. I've got some countersunk and 4 bolts. I'll probably replace those while we're at it. Why not? So this is like a zero cost, I'll give it a bash kind of repair. So yeah, tomorrow's job. Well, do that. And welcome back. So you can see I've already done a bit of cleanup. Just taking the paint off this and off this in a couple of areas. Now I'm just going to use a burr on the Dremel, because this is quite small. I won't get the air grinder out. You won't be able to hear anything anyway. To take off the weld and clean up the end. I don't want to clean it up too much because I still want it to kind of register with where it needs to go. So we'll just do a bit of cleanup and and then we'll get to it. I'm going deaf, so hold on. PPE, I'm wearing goggles at least, or safety specs, but let's have a bit of hearing protection. Well, that is everything covered in a fine powder of aluminium. But I think that's cleaned up. If you can see that back to like shiny aluminium. Hopefully without taking too much out. Yeah. So now there's this bit which has this massive ring of weld in it that I need to do much the same thing to get clean. Just switch out for a more like bullnose attachment. Get in there a bit better. That's unfortunate. The battery went flat. Guess who only has one battery for his Dremel? Yep. Gonna have to get the air die grinder out. Back in a bit. Tell you what I'll do. I'll pause you, finish cleaning these up, then we'll come back. Alright, welcome back, guys. I think we can file this under, I ain't stupid if it works, but a block of aluminium stuck to the desk, the V-block. Alright then, folks. So, unlike Dustin at Pacific Arc, or Mr. Voss, or Brad at Hourglass, I'm not good enough to TIG weld and look around the camera. So let me just explain. What I had was this tube upright, because upright is kind of where it wants to go, with this V-block on the back of the tube, and this big old chunk of aluminium bolted down here, right? That kept it all square to the table, more or less. It all leans back at a jaunty angle on the scooter anyway, so, you know. And I managed to finally get a tack weld on there. Please ignore the huge, great dingleberry that's stuck there. This is... I'm not great at aluminium welding to begin with. And this is horrible aluminium. The cheapest Chinesium, probably. Anyway. So... I just about have it tacked in place, right, on the outside. Clearly, originally, this was welded only on the inside. But I want to get it welded on the outside as well. So, that, you know, maybe it lasts a little longer. So, it's going to take care of that big dangly bit with one of these, essentially like the these were probably the cheapest carbide burrs I could find on Amazon at the time. And like, this is a, you know, a favour, right? I could do with some carbide burrs, but also this is a favour and I have no idea if it'll work, so I didn't want to spend a ton of money. Anyway, let's just get this dingleberry off. Yeah. Safety squibs. I won't worry about the hearing protection this time. You know that's all going right in my cup of tea, right? You guys see that? Yeah, go on. Let's see if we can't get another tack over here. Still set to like a, I don't know, 112 amps, 35% cleaning action. Feel free to yell at the camera if you think I'm doing it wrong. Excellent. Second tack in place. Really, really horrible. So, let's try and get another one around here. Now, if you'll excuse me, I may have dipped my tungsten. Alright, there's no mayo about it. I definitely dipped my tungsten. So, does somebody want to keep count, by the way? Because that's always fun. That's one. These are blue lanthanated 1.6 mil or 1/16th, by the way. I was trying the serrated, but I just didn't really get on with the serrated, I gotta be honest. For stainless steel, I got on with it just fine. For aluminium, however, hated it, so. Right, we've got 3 decent tacks. I'll add some more. And try not to stick my tungsten in the workpiece this time. Not too many times anyway, I've only got like 10 tungstens. Then I'll have to go and regrind some more. And ain't nobody got time for that. That is some... Let's try that again, shall we? Oh my god. Alright, I know I'm doing something wrong. I'm just, you know, not good enough to know what yet. But we'll figure it out. Just keep plugging away, right? So you learn. Something like that anyway. The only trouble is, on this leading edge is like the mother of all gaps. I'm not really sure how to fill that, so I might come back to that. So, strength test. I didn't snap it off. So that's good, right? Now, quite how I'm going to weld in there, I'm not sure yet. Turn my gas flow down a bit because the last thing I was doing was stainless steel. These lots. How the hell? How am I going to weld in there and have a decent ground? Bolt the V-block to the bench. Woo! Warm. And then bolt apparatus to V-block. Oh yeah. How about that? I mean, aside from the fact that this thing's going to, you know, poke me. There we go. Oh yeah. I can at least get around half of it, right? Yeah. Yeah, that seems reasonable. More teeth. It's already broken. As Abe would say, already fucked. Can't fuck it anymore. But you know, it's like a point of personal pride, right? You don't want to screw it up and leave the guy without anything. Scratch number 2 tungsten. You know, for the brief moment I was welding there, it looked like it was going to go okay. Before I rammed the tungsten into the workpiece. Alright, what I'm having a great deal of trouble with is getting the filler into the weld before it's like melted and dropped off, right? That's where I am having the problems right now. That went okay. Whew. Warm. Oh man. Scratch tungsten number 3. So that was, I don't know, big-ish filler. Just gonna go down a size, but you know, acetone off the filler first, like what I has been taught by the internet. There we go. That did actually work better. Shocker. Who knew? Not me, evidently. Ah. Guess who did it again? Seriously, if one of the internet weld inspectors would like to pop out right now and just finish this off for me, that would be awesome. Another, you know, half an inch of weld to go. It's only taken me 35 minutes. Shall we see if we can do the outside? Oh, and that one is just now one big blob on the end. Aye, aye, aye. Just when I think I'm getting it, I'm like, oh yeah, I see what I need to do now. Along it comes, and it's like, nah, you know nothing, Jon Snow. Do you know? I don't know what this block of black mystery metal is. Really heavy. Comes in very handy. Well, I think that is kind of passable. I'll put some pictures. Well, I say passable. I mean, it's not awful. It's better than the inside was. Yeah. But it's now welded inside and out, with the exception of that bit at the front, that this bit where it's all walled out. I don't think I'm a good enough welder to fix that. So let's just make sure this thing still closes. It is warm. When I say warm, I mean it's roasty toasty. Oh yeah. Not bad. That lip. See that square hole this little retaining thing goes in? I mean, it's supposed to be that you have to push this down before it come out. But it does nothing. Now I'm tempted to just try and build that up a little bit. This whole thing is, as Dusty would say, screaming hot. Woo! That's one way of getting duct tape off, I suppose. Like the oil is melting off the V-block. However, considering I haven't really practiced aluminium at all, I'm actually reasonably pleased with that. I wish I could fix this bit here, but I can't. Just don't think I'm good enough to fix that bit. I don't know. Am I? What do you think? Do I give it a go? Or just try and build it up a little bit at a time until we close the gap? Oh, we could give it a go. It's the worst that can happen, right? In for a penny, in for a pound. The worst thing that can happen is I melt this lip right back, I guess. Possible I've run out of talent? Well, I'm lacking talent, I make up for in enthusiasm, right? Boy, am I glad I've got my thick hoodie on, because it's hecka warm. But I filled it in. I filled it in good. You know, would have helped if I cleaned the paint off a bit better, but there you go. That is going nowhere. So there goes another one. Yeah, started off with 10. We've got 3 left. So this is number 7. That is probably not a good batting average, I think, is what that is. Alright, let's try that again. Well, this is tricky. I'm trying to build up the edge of a hole. Yeah, that's tricky, apparently. Who knew? Who knew? Not me, he says. Not me. Oh, look at that. Ah. Woo! Right, that was quite the challenge, folks. It's been, an hour. Wow. It's been an hour, and that's going to be screaming hot, so let's not pick it up with bare hands just yet. Can you see what I was building up the edge there? So that this guy would actually clip in, and now he doesn't come out. You have to actually release it. Superb. Now then, shall we count? Let's do a tungsten count, shall we? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's another one. 6. 6 of my glasses fell off. So, it took us 7 tungstens. I've got some sharpening to do. We've got dipped a little bit, dipped a lot, dipped a lot. Yeah, focus. Oh yeah. Right, sharpening. I've got some ends to chop off. We'll probably lop them all off, I think. And this is so hot right now. So we'll let that cool down for a while. Throw a cut paint on it, and we'll call it good. I will take some pictures, put them up at the end, and yeah, you can see what a horrible mess I made. Thanks a lot for watching. Like and subscribe and all that good stuff, and I'll catch you next time when I attempt to repair someone else's thing, and we can learn along together. Catch you all next time.